Yeah.
Because if we don't stop him, we're fucking done.
Yeah. You feel a lot better. Like, hey, we shut down the number one back around. Yeah, the guy threw for 300 on us, but that's what it might take. Huh? 11 guys running to the ball.
My kid had his first what they call his first varsity moment. We're up 35-3 at the half. They come out halftime. They're kicking to us. I'm like, they got to get desperate here. They're fucked,
Yeah.
And they came out of the half onside, and they got Sam on the front row. They kicked it to Sam, and the other guys, they took 4 steps back at first, and then got there late. And so that team recovered the onside. Sam fucking, he's like, oh shit. And then he starts going for it. And some big dude. And actually, now that I'm varsity, there's 2 angles of every play. Some big dude just fucking murders him. He's the coach like, yeah, I had my varsity moment, man. And again, it was no big deal. It was a blowout, but he's like, well, we don't. I was like, well, what the fuck? Don't you guys practice for onside kicks? He goes, no, we do. He goes, but that's the hands team. He goes, well, I'm on the regular fucking kickoff team. For 2 weeks, they just put me on here. He goes, we've never practiced it. And he got kicked to him. Fucking, he shit his pants.
He's probably like, I blame the coaches. I shouldn't even have been out there.
That's right.
And he's got 2 seniors on, and I think he's got seniors on either side of him. They're like, guys, they did it too. They backed up too. Like, well, guys.
Yeah, you gotta, especially coming like that, come out of the half. You gotta think, and they might try to steal some momentum.
Yeah, they needed something to happen. They know they're gonna lose unless some crazy shit like that starts happening. But we killed them.
Nice. You guys got anything you want me to look up on the PFF stats for the game? I got them locked and loaded here. We're talking snap counts and grades and all that shit.
I know we went through all the defensive backs, both sides, prior to the game. I'd like to see what they scored in the game.
Oh,
I think no, I don't think I am. I think we're gonna get severely outplayed in secondary.
Yeah. So I do want to add one thing to our typical itinerary, and that's our CFP top 4 as you see it, not as you predict the committee to roll it out on Tuesday, as your top 5 if you were the committee of 1.
Not the way I think it's going to end, at the end of the year, because there's football.
We're not trying to predict other people's stupidity.
Well, yeah, I was. That's what I gave you guys Saturday. That's what I was giving you. What I would expect to see out of the people doing it.
Oh, you can.
But all right, I'll give you what I think it is. I'll give you my 5. But you want to go 5 or 6? Like first 2 hours, or first just 1 out.
I haven't even thought of the 5 and 6 yet, but I will.
Right. Well, just take the next 2 undefeated teams after your 4, and you'll have them. But yeah, usually they give us the 4, then the first 2 out. But
yeah,
I can give you 6 tonight.
I like 6. All right. Let me roll this intro and then we'll jump into it.
Buckeye Nation, welcome to the Buckeye Cast, your only commercial-free Ohio State football podcast. These guys were born and bred in the Buckeye State, and they like to talk Buckeye football and drink bourbon. Subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your podcast. Now, pour a drink and pull up a stool. Here's your host, Joe Warwick.
All right, let's get into it, folks. Thank you for joining us on YouTube and everywhere else, whatever platform you might be on. We appreciate you being here with us tonight. Lots to get into. Lively week of college football, specifically with the Buckeye Nation. we appreciate everybody supporting the show and buying us shots and drinks and sending us all that. Never going to turn those down. Please, you got to visit mytbcplus.com. That's our new subscription service. You get a free t-shirt right off the bat just for joining. You guys, Jeff, I got Jeff and Sean here. You guys think that's a winning proposition?
I'll do pretty much anything for a free t-shirt, Joe.
Those are nice t-shirts too. I mean, that's not.
Yeah. You're a big tri-blend guy, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, me too. I like to rub it against my balls. But these shirts are not rubbed against anyone's balls. I promise you that. You guys have any bourbon talk you want to jump into?
Not necessarily for me. Nothing. Nothing's moving the needle from where I've been.
Laying low.
Yeah, same
Jeff?
here, Joe. Same here.
God, Jesus.
No, I got no news on that front for you.
I'll just drink my Buffalo all by myself in my corner. Be perfectly content. Oh, so tonight's show, folks, let me lay it out for you quickly. This is going to be kind of, we're going to get into the Penn State game, obviously, first. But I do want to give you some news on Jackson Smith and Jigba and some brief recruiting updates because we have an announcement coming tomorrow night, Monday night, from a D tackle, a 2023. So these 2023 recruits are winding down. And there's very few guys that the Buckeyes are in on. But this D tackle out of North Gwinnett in Georgia, basically North Atlanta, which we've done very well in, is committing tomorrow. He's announcing, and it'd be a huge get. He's a 4-star. So we'll see how that goes. Let me jump right into the recruiting portion. This is Caden McDonald, the D tackle. His final 4 are Ohio State, Oklahoma, Clemson, Florida, 5, Michigan. I didn't count Michigan. Clemson has crystal balls, or they have crystal balled Clemson for Caden McDonald, but those are old balls. Like, you know how old balls look? Jeff, you know how those look.
Lower
Sean,
than you want them.
Sean, you too. But Buckeyes have made some late strides in this recruitment. So this is going to come down to an Ohio State Clemson battle. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, if he wants to stay home, then he's going to Clemson. If he's not afraid of a quick hour-and-a-half flight, maybe Columbus is his home. So that's going to be a huge get because we're kind of thin on the D line for the 23 class. And we're also in on multiple DNs. I'm going to get right to those right now. We've talked about these guys. If you guys listen to the Daily Buckeye Blitz, every Monday we talk recruiting. And I've been keeping you updated on Keon Keeley, Damon Wilson, and Mateo DJ's brother. So it's been pretty quiet lately. These guys are trying to finish their senior years of football and kind of leading into the playoffs for most high school teams. But Brian Schottenstein just said recently, and you know who he is, the guy with the big checks, short guy, big checks. He is the foundation founder and chairman of the NIL conglomerate. He says that Ohio State is getting Keon Keeley, who has been crystal balled, to Alabama.
Yes.
So he says the Buckeyes are getting Keon Keeley and Mateo Uiagalelei. Yeah, you know, Mateo.
I'll believe that when I see that.
The guy's got cash money. But Keon Keeley, you got to keep this in mind. He is visiting Columbus for the Michigan game. November 26th. So not decided yet, has not set a commitment date. Damon Wilson actually has been crystal balled to Ohio State by Steve Wiltfong and Bill Kurlick on 24/7. And Brian Schottenstein says that guy is going to Georgia. So I don't know what's going on. It seems like kind of, I feel, I've been saying this for weeks on my recruiting show, that we need to get 2 of the 3. We're not going to get all 3, and that's fine. I wouldn't expect that. But 2 of the 3, meaning probably Mateo and Damon, because Damon's been crystal balled to the Buckeyes. Mateo, his recruiting's on lockdown. His dad is running that shit. Big Dave keeps everything under wraps. There's not even a whiff of a crystal ball. There's not even a crystal nugget. So it kind of throws a monkey wrench into this defensive end recruiting. And we know how Larry Johnson likes to work. He likes to get his guys late in the process. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we really don't have any idea when these guys are going to commit. Most likely Mateo is going to run the process right to February. The other 2, Damon and Keon, could announce by middle of December. So keep that open. There's a few other things on Monday's episode that I'll get into tomorrow. Those were the big ones. We got some 2024 updates on Jeremiah Smith and Garrett Stover, the cousin of Cade Stover, of course. So check out that tomorrow morning. That will be in your ass at 8 a.m. You guys have any takes on those DNs? Any thoughts?
No.
Go ahead, Sean.
I mean, no, go ahead, Jeff. I don't have really much of a take on any of it. I never know what's going on with these kids anymore. I hope that train keeps going and Larry can keep pulling them in.
Well, yeah. What do you think of? They're all 5 stars. So I know it doesn't matter where they come from, but you think we need to get 2 at least, right? Because we have none in this class so far.
I don't know if you need 2 5 stars. I mean, that'd be nice.
You won't complain about that?
Yeah, everybody doesn't mind getting 2 5-star defensive ends. That's for sure.
Okay. All right.
Which is basically what JT and Jack Sawyer are, right?
The same class.
Correct.
Exactly. So, all right. I'll let you guys go on that one. I won't press you too hard. JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba news before we get into this Penn State post game and autopsy of the Knits. JSN absent from practice this entire week leading up to the game. Multiple sources have confirmed that he is seeking a second opinion on his hamstring. On top of that, in wide receiver news, Jaden Ballard injured possibly a serious injury on Saturday at the Penn State game. We don't have any updates yet. It's not looking great. Ryan Day was asked about freshman receivers last week that might need to emerge at some point, and the only name he mentioned was Kojo Antwi. So
that room's getting pretty thin for how deep as it's been.
Exactly, Sean.
Man,
that's exactly it.
It's good. It's good. We've had that depth because we need it.
Yeah, it's not a position you want to be in, but somebody's going to have to step up
for sure.
You guys got any takes on receivers that you'd like to see step into not necessarily it's not going to be a starter or might not even be a second string role because you got Xavier Johnson that can play multiple positions and stuff. But I don't know. I thought. Go ahead.
Joe, I say, obviously Xavier Johnson is going to be the first person they look to. Who was the other receiver that came in the same class as Jaden Ballard? He hasn't seen the field. There was no, I'm talking about the top.
Did he transfer out?
Was it Caleb Brown? Does that sound right?
Oh no, he's a freshman.
But is that the name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So then I was thinking he was a sophomore and thinking he would be, for a little further along. And why wouldn't, as a sophomore, wouldn't he be ready? But if he's a true freshman, coming in at August or whatever.
Yeah, you got Caleb.
Obviously
Caleb Brown.
Right, Caleb Burton and Caleb Brown. Okay. All right. That's where I was getting the names kind of crossed. All right. So, and the only one we mentioned was Kojo Antwi. He was that four-star kid out of Texas, I think. Obviously, there's been no mention of really any of them throughout the year, or throughout camp or anything. So, I don't think any of us. They're probably the insiders are probably doing some real digging, to get get some word on these kids. But I don't think the public knows anything at all about how any of them are progressing. So it's all speculation at this point.
What about that? What about that
Johnson?
Kion? Is he not doing nothing?
Kion Grays, he looked great in the spring game. But yeah, I have to check into his snap counts. He might be one of those borderline redshirt guys, But
yeah, well,
I liked him
we're
in the
about to
spring game for sure.
Yeah, and the true freshman. I guess we're about to find out. I don't remember seeing Jaden Ballard's injury. Do you know what it was?
It was probably on special teams because I don't think he was in there much on
Right.
on
I don't think I remember the play, but well, shit. Yeah, with the news of JSN, yeah, we're looking at you three starters better stay healthy. But we still have three great ones. So
what are we saying with JSN?
I still like the fact that I don't think he's going to play the rest of the season.
I hate to say it,
at least the regular season.
Yeah,
I think I won't speak for him and say he's going to pass up on everything just to get ready for the draft yet.
Then
I think
hold it. Am I wrong here? I thought there was a middle of the week presser or update or something, and Day or someone said that they expect JSN to play, or was that JSN that said he expects
yeah.
So if he hadn't been to practice all week, something's not jiving there.
Right. Well, Day has been more than guarded with his words, especially about Jackson, and he's even backed off any injury talk this week. And he's basically like, I'm not talking about it. You'll get the availability report Saturday mornings. That's it. So going forward, we're probably not going to get any information at all about injuries, much less Jackson. So if he's going outside, it tells me that he's re-aggravated it again, and it's a matter of restarting rehab, really. I mean, that's all you can do. Rest it and rehab it for a hammy. So if he's restarting rehab, the rest and rehab,
then we won't see him this year.
We won't see him this year. No, until maybe January at best. And then
then I don't think he would just come back just for the playoff games if he couldn't make it back. I don't know, but that's all speculation.
I don't know. You're talking about
we can't get in the kid's head or nothing.
You're talking about playing for a natty. I would think that anybody would want to do that. If you're not relevant, I would, but if you could come back at some point, I think you would.
Yeah, if you're assuming that we will, if we are in the playoffs, yes, I think that changes a player's decision. If we get beat by Michigan and don't make it to the Big Ten championship game, don't make it in the playoffs. If we're going back to the Rose Bowl again, he's definitely not playing.
But then what's the word do you think he drops and should come back for another year to get his draft stock higher, or you think he's still a first rounder?
I say first rounder, not a top 10 though.
I don't think there's a chance in hell we get him back to school next year.
No.
Regardless of how serious the injury is, I don't think coming back here is a question, because it's still a hamstring. It's not, it's not a neck or something that might be over a year and a half, 2 year recovery. He could have surgery and next shut him down, and that, you might still be looking at a high, at the end of the first round. Or,
but still, at least he's getting paid to rehab it.
True, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
paid
so
more. I should say. I don't see more.
I don't see any chance of him staying another year. But I mean, I know this kid wants to be in the NFL, but what else does this kid have going on? We don't know what his.
He's got a nice little contract with Express Men's. We know that.
Yeah. See, that's another thing where you don't have to. Maybe if we don't know what the money is like. He might be real comfortable. He might have a girl here, and he's like, I can still get paid here in rehab for free and get paid while I rehab. Or you never know. With the money with the money being open nowadays.
First round NFL money is not going to equal NIL money, even at Ohio State. I don't think. But that's just my assumption. So let's jump into this Penn State. We could speculate all day on Jackson. Hopefully he comes back at some point, but I think at some point it detracts from the current wide receivers and their growth, which they've made strides since week 1. We're only in week 9. So in 9 weeks, these guys, Emeka especially, Marvin, these guys have blown up. And I think if you bring back Jackson and limit everybody else's reps, it like kind of stunts their growth and the continuity they have right now, right? Am I off?
I don't know. I think if Najeeba's what he has been, then no, we want him. We want him on the field, and we want that depth. And we're fine without it. But don't kid yourself that doesn't add value if he's a healthy dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Steven in the chat says it's a wrap for JSN. No way he's returning next year. And unfortunately, I agree on both points. So let's talk about this Penn State game. Why do we always play in the weirdest games? Why do our games get so weird? Don't make it so weird. Fuck. 44-31, Buckeyes roll that late touchdown with a minute and a half left. Doesn't count in my book, but it does count with my bookie. So we don't cover the 20. Game balls. Let's give out some game balls. Jeff, you got some big game balls?
There's only one game ball to give it to.
Just one, huh? Oh,
I mean,
go.
JTD should get the only game ball. That was a game. There should be no other game ball given out that would be equal to that game ball. You know
so
what
you're
I'm saying?
It's a huge game ball.
A fucking golden game ball. Like, you can't say that somebody else had an equal game that he did. He impacted the game. Almost every play was out there and made game-changing plays. Several of them, hands down, the best game. One of the best games we've ever seen from a defensive end at Ohio State.
Yeah, we've never seen Chase Young, Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa with two picks.
Well, I'm saying they've all had great performances. Where it's like standout moments that you can remember play. Every second of it. But like the stat line that he threw up there is stupid.
Here it is. Let's run through it quickly. 2 INTs, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, a tip pass for an INT, and a pick 6. Oh, and don't forget the 6 tackles by a defensive end.
It's ridiculous.
And not bad. Not bad.
Not going to see that very often.
I bet he grades a champion.
Yeah, I think so.
JTT's gonna get the first grand champion of the season.
He's getting extra wings.
The champion of champions.
Yeah.
Sean, great game. I mean, just an outstanding game. I mean, you can talk about the offensive player of the game was, but there's no other talk when it comes to the defensive side for sure.
Sean, you ever see a defensive end jump a route?
I know the guy
on a pass,
a fucking slant.
He jumped it.
I mean, and he makes that catch. That was a great catch. I'm like, how's the big man even pull that in? Keep it off the ground.
That's like Jug's work from like 5 yards away.
He was a good basketball player too.
6. Yeah, no, he was absolutely sick and just what I expected. And man, I hope there's more of that to come.
Well, we've been saying this for weeks, and Ryan Day Jim Knowles has been saying it actually, that he is like, a quarter of a second away from all these sacks, big plays, and finally he's getting it. And you know what? On top of that, I'm noticing the same from Jack Sawyer. He is, especially this past game, he had a couple pressures where he's just a split second away from making plays. And right. Old man Clifford is the king of giving up the ball and not taking care of it. Right.
Oh, yeah. But I will, on defense, I'll give just a small shout out to the boy, Ike. I think on the stat sheet, he shows up with 15 tackles. Mm-hmm. That's a day.
Missed a big one, though.
A real big one.
Slid down the stripper pole on 4th and 1 at the goal line.
I know.
Didn't go well.
That was like a 4-yard loss too.
But I mean, that's football, and that happens. They're trying real hard too.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
right.
Still, I mean, Eichenberg, he brings his lunch pail, and that's what he does.
Yeah, you got to take the bad along with the good. I'll give you that. But
totally honorable mention to JT.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison. You guys want to send any compliments his way? 185, 10 catches on 11 targets, even after getting dinged up. He didn't have a touchdown, but Trey and JT took all the touchdowns. Kate Stover.
Yeah, I mean, great game by Marvin. I'm just in comparison to game ball, like maybe it's a game whistle for the offensive guy this week. Didn't quite
close.
Yeah.
He hit his high receiving yards, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, consistently made plays. The deep in we hit in that slant, it's pretty much unguardable because he's so good at getting his body in position, blocking off that DB and stuff. So, yeah, great game. I would say he would be the offensive player of the game. Yeah, or maybe Trey. Trey, it looked like he had a little bit of the burst was back a little bit, but
right. That leads me into my concerns about the offense. You guys got anything you want to cover on the run game issues, play calling, game management, penalties? Oh, by the way, since when did it stop being a penalty? Because week 1, this was a penalty. When the defense jumps and draws the offense to move, that's typically an offsides on the defense. We got charged with 3 false starts from the defense jumping first.
Yeah, I think that's just a
What's
state
going on
college
there?
thing. I think that's just us playing
Home
at state
cooking?
college. Because I thought the same thing, Joe. As far as I knew the rule, I what I had mom and dad at the house, and everybody's asking like, what the fuck? And I was like, as far as I know, if you jump in a neutral zone and then draw an offensive guy to
Did
raise
they?
up,
Yeah.
then it's offsides.
Yeah. If you jump in the neutral zone, that's game over. That's a flag. That's end of play.
Yeah, right. If you jump in the neutral zone and the other guy moves, then it's on the D. But if you jump in the neutral zone, the other guy doesn't move and you get back, I don't think it's anything at that point, as long as no one moves. I didn't see him that close. Were they always in the neutral zone when they did that?
Number
They can move.
97, dude. Yeah, he went in. One of them he lined up in the neutral zone.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give us the slow down right at the from the ground level from the line of scrimmage view. They give you more like the over the top view. It looked like he jumped in your zone twice and drew our tackle and Stover off.
I know. My guy Tyrone in the chat is saying some of the play calling is what killed him. Day continued to press the run. That's one of the topics I wanted to talk about too. It's like Dave will like get tunnel vision on running or passing, and he won't move off of it. So like, remember, what was it, the Big Ten championship game a couple of years ago against Northwestern? Trey Sermon was running like mad, and he still tried to pass it, even though Fields had like a fucked up thumb. It's like everybody, you could hear people yelling, "Run the fucking ball!" Right? But this was the opposite. He was running the ball, and when the pass is wide open, the middle of the field was wide open all fucking day. All day. They didn't realize it until like late in the third, early fourth.
Yeah, there's a pretty concerted effort to throw 8-9 guys in the box. It seemed like a lot. But almost every running play, we were outmanned. Like they had a guy free every run play, like right there in the box. So,
and those bubble screens are supposed to be. Ryan Day calls them a version of the run game, or a part of the run game. Those bubble screens that they kept running to a Mecca. And to Steven's point in the chat, you can't play horizontally, and those DBs. Porter and those guys were triggered on that. They knew that was coming. That's why they kept getting under those blocks by Cade Stover. They knew it was coming. It just knifed in.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like 3 times in a row, the same. The guy beat Stover to the point. At some point, you have to, as a coordinator, somebody up there with the headset on, has got to say, Stover can't get to that block. We got to change it. We got to change it up. We got to, either change the play or scrap the fucking play altogether. Because the same thing happened 3 times. It's like almost back to like the Oregon game last year on the defensive side. Like 3 times.
So what they're trying to do is, this is the concept. They're trying to set up stuff off of that. So like they're trying to run these little bubbles and get your DBs crashing to the line so they can go next play deep over the top of them. But it doesn't work unless one of them is successful, and we never got the chance to run deep over the top of them because nothing was successful.
I know down in the red zone, we tried to run out of that bunch and tried to slip Emeka on that corner on that corner route, and it just got overthrown, I believe. But yeah, you can't. You have to establish success at one version of it. Before the rest of it will ever be effective. That was just, I'm sure the coaches are looking at that again, and if Kevin Wilson, like why were you not seeing that this was exactly what was happening? If Silver can't get out there and make that block, either change the formation or don't run the play. You got to switch it up. You got to do something. And
Sean, they were running that on 3rd and 5. Doesn't seem like a winning play to me.
that was, I don't know. You try a play, you like it, it looks good in practice. Fine, you're going to give it a go. Even if it doesn't go right, okay, hey, give it another go. But I mean, that was going nowhere. That was
At one point, Emeka had 4 catches for -2 yards.
I know.
That was into the
Big
fourth
problem.
quarter, I think. I think that was still into the fourth quarter. He had that stat line.
Yeah. But
That's got to be a record, right?
it seems bad. Seems really bad. So let's all right. So let's enough of the negative. Let's talk positive. CJ. So CJ has he does have this knack for being clutch. I think we've seen it multiple times now where it's become a pattern where maybe he's lazy for 2 quarters, 3 quarters. But he went 6 of 8 in the fourth quarter. All 6 completions were for first downs, 3 scoring drives. One was a field goal. The other 2 were touchdowns. He was 26 of 33, 354, and he has a new Ohio State record, 20th consecutive game with a TD pass. When they were losing in the fourth by a score. So on his career, he is 65 of 90. That's 72% for 900 yards, 7 TDs, and a pick when down by 1 score in the fourth quarter. Against Utah, Notre Dame, he was 24 of 27, 329, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So I think we need to acknowledge the fact that, I think sometimes we take CJ for granted almost. And when the game is on the line, he gets it done, right? I mean, he distributes. You guys have thoughts on that?
I mean, no doubt he does. But, I mean, I watched a game like that, and early I didn't think he looked sharp, and then we're out there, we got to delay a game early, and it's just like that's the type of shit that just drives me nuts. I don't know. Penn State's obviously got a good secondary, limit 1 touchdown pass, but he always does seem to pull through in the end. I was a little bit worried, and watching, especially the first half of that game, I'm like, if we play like this, we're going to lose at the end of the season. So, but he always seems to pull it out, and he did fine in the second half, like you said.
Exactly. We got some comments. Tyrone in the chat wants to know if Tennessee is a national championship contender. We'll get to that. I want to talk about the national landscape after we get past this Penn State game. And Steven says that there's a fraction of the fan base that takes CJ Stroud for granted, and he balled out yesterday. I think we can all agree with that, right?
Who did? Stroud?
CJ gets taken for granted by a fraction of the fan base. That was Steven's comment.
Even me down.
Yeah. All right. So Marv goes 10 catches and 185, 10 first downs against a tough secondary, Penn State. 3 of his catches were on 3rd and 10s. 3rd down and 10 yards. He had a 4th down catch on 4th and 7. Guy set up clutch. 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals. I mean, he was money, straight up money. I'm not sure that we can get that out of any other receiver on the team. What do you think, Jeff?
Well, we saw what Emeka was struggling through. It seemed like they had him bottled up. Whatever we were at the beginning, whatever we were calling up for Emeka, they had their guys there. Mostly those bubble screens, like we were just talking about. But he really had that horrible stat line, I think, until the fourth quarter. They made a couple plays down the field, but Not a lot of Julian Fleming either.
He had
I
a
mean, overall,
couple.
the second,
He had a PI.
yeah. I mean, yeah, he was involved, but I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't recite you any handful of plays. I could tell you a bunch of Marvin plays, just because, just substantial numbers compared to the rest of the receiver group.
Well, Julian had 3 targets, 2 catches for 27. Emeka, 6 catches on 8 targets for 53. Cade, big money, man. 6 catches on 6 targets for 78 and the touchdown. I like the way they incorporated him.
I would like to see like that full, maybe all 22 tape and kind of see what they were doing in secondary. Why maybe Julian and Emeka weren't getting getting free. Maybe it's just the route combinations or what, but or was the pressure that they were able to get on Stroud enough just for him to not see those short routes and maybe have better vision of what was going deeper or up the seam maybe. I don't know. I'd be interested to see why Emeka and Julian weren't able to be more impactful.
Their secondary is good. I mean, you can't take that away from them. Their linebackers suck, though. That's why I thought we'd be a little stronger in the run game.
They crowded from what I saw penetration on Penn State.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that movie.
With
it's one of my favorites.
Penn State penetration, right?
Starring Jerry
a little touchy. Too soon, Joe.
Yeah, too soon. But the running game never could really get started because I thought they just had, like I said, we were outmanned in the box. That's another good one. It's got a part 2.
So she said,
outmanned in the box.
Oh, yeah, legendary. That's a box set, I think.
Why couldn't we get more holes with the run game?
We need more men on this.
I was a little bit disappointed with the run game after what Michigan did to them on the ground, and maybe they fixed some of those flaws. But I would have thought we would have had our way a little bit more because they were doing, obviously had the long run from Trey, but before that doubled our rushing total for the game. They were doing well against us.
I know.
But you know what, too? Also, I'm watching that Michigan game. I know we'll get into that in a little bit. But watching that game Saturday night, Michigan didn't do to Michigan State what we did to Michigan State. We might not have done to Penn State what Michigan did to them, but that goes both ways. You know what I mean? Like transitive properties, we're going to look at what Michigan did to Michigan State. Like
I don't like that game. I don't like the transitive property.
No, I don't either. So, we didn't run for 400 yards against Penn State. They were able to, but Michigan wasn't able to do what we did to a team that we, to the same opponent. So that just goes to different game plans, different personnel, game to game. That shit all changes. I don't. There's people that want to knock Ohio State out there in the media that will say, look what, they'll bring it up because it's an easy comparison. Like if you want to make your argument, well, look what Michigan did to a common opponent. Look what Ohio State did. Michigan's clearly the, more fierce running attack. So you can make whatever stat you want for whatever argument.
Yeah.
I don't think it means that much that we didn't run for 400 yards against Penn State. Their defense played great. I mean, Clifford kept their defense away from having a chance of winning.
And Henry, you got to remember, this was a home game for Penn State, right? I mean, Michigan did that at their place to Penn State.
Certainly, and I stand by my statement. I think Happy Valley is the probably toughest venue certainly in the Big Ten, if not the country.
Yeah. A couple negatives I wanted to touch on the defense. We had a total of 12 missed tackles. Those will come back to haunt you. I say it every week, but Tommy Eichenberg had 4, 1 big missed tackle, in the backfield on that 4th and goal. Targets, I want to touch on DBs. I think teams have found our fish. Tanner McAllister is the weakest link. 11 targets this week, 9 receptions for 135 yards. Typically, your slot is the weakest. And I know he had 2 picks last week, but let's get some consistency, dude. Thoughts? Prayers?
Well, I don't. What were the matchups?
JK didn't look great.
No, I was going to say you want to talk about missed tackles. Who did the Olay that gave up about 78 yards?
Yeah.
That long touchdown.
Yeah, that was JK out there on the perimeter.
So he was way out of
Sure.
position on that tight end. He wasn't even in position to make a play on the ball, much less the fucking tight end.
But yeah, missed tackles. Missed tackles we've seen that. We've seen that since the opening game. You know, missed tackles on the perimeter lead to big plays down the sidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hurt us in every it has hurt us in every game.
Yeah.
We've been able to overcome it in every game.
Right.
When all things being equal, we might not be able to overcome that. You know.
Right. So, yeah, you can't have double-digit missed tackles in a game. I mean, obviously, the Michigan
Shit
game.
no, man. Shit no.
Thank you. Watch out for the cornhole. You can't have double-digit missed tackles, especially when you're playing an opponent that's almost equally talented, you know, when we get into the playoffs and obviously Michigan. So you can't have those double-digit missed tackles, and it'll kill you. So let's get into our score prediction recap. I'm going to go ahead and take the win on this one, guys. Hope you don't mind. I had 41-20. Sean had 45-17. Not even close. Jeff 38-13, way off.
Close.
Steven, where you at, Steven? I'm talking to you. 45-17. Cassie, I haven't even seen you yet tonight, girl. 49-17. I'll go ahead and take the win on that one, guys. Hope you don't mind.
So 38-17, I was way off, you said. Okay.
Yeah. Well, final was 44-31.
Yep.
I had 41-20. Nobody had over 20 for Penn State.
Nobody in Las Vegas had Penn State scoring over more than 20 points either. I mean, who the fuck would have thought? Nobody thought Penn State was going to score over 20 points, did they?
I don't know. Hey, you guys,
maybe they could
make up your own brain. What else we got here? Props to Steven. He had Kate Stover and JT for his microscopes. So you definitely win that one. Not even close. I had Emeka and Tommy. Sean had Mayan and Jack. Jeff had Trey and Rocket. And Cassie had the entire offensive line and Tommy Eichenberg and Tanner McAllister. Good try, Cassie. Didn't work out. So good job to you, Steven. For that, you received nothing. All right. So anything else on the Penn State game? I think we covered it all, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah, we gotta be more productive in the red zone too. Another week of a lot of field goals.
Mm-hmm.
Just we're making them though, I mean, for the most part. But you can't keep asking your guy to make 4 or 5, 6 field goals a week.
Yeah,
you know, you're not. That's too much asking a kicker.
I want that run game to be able to get 5 yards when they need to get it.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, let's kick it off into this Northwestern pregame. This is going to be short because I want to get into some of the national games that we saw. Obviously, Buckeyes are going up to Chicago. Bang, bang. Noon game. This is on ABC, though. It's not your big nooner. So Buckeyes are at Ryan Field for a noon kickoff. ABC. I wonder if you think Herb Street's covering this? Where's game day at? I don't know. It doesn't matter. They have private aviation. They can definitely get to Chicago if they have to for a noon kicker. Pat Fitzgerald, 17th year. They suck. We know they suck. These recruiting rankings are pathetic. This guy, and he has a job for life. See, this is where the Big Ten is lagging behind the rest of the country. They give these guys like lifetime deals. Ferentz, Fitzgerald, Mel Tucker, $100 million. They give these guys, Paul Chris somehow, he evaded that and got fired. Same for Scott Frost. So why is it, I don't know. It's confusing to me why some guys get seemingly a lifetime deal to be mediocre, like Fitzgerald. You guys got to take on this because their national recruiting ranking is 48th. Their Big Ten ranking is 13th.
Yeah, but
they built that awesome facility. What are you doing with the rest of the fucking money? Invest it in the coaching.
Yeah, but to me, it's, Fitzgerald's got that program in and out, obviously not this year, in and out to respectable territory. And I don't think that I don't think the expectation level at Northwestern is such that, hey, I need you winning Big Ten championships, 50% of the time. So I don't know. I think that's why a guy like Fitzgerald, he's beloved there. And, he's run a pretty clean program. There's no scandals. There's no bullshit there. And they're happy with a competitive team here and there. And I think that's their norm.
That's the problem with that Big Ten West, Sean. That's my point. They're happy with mediocrity and getting their ass kicked by the best team from the East every year.
But I think you got Vanderbilts and that are as well. Down in every conference, I think you have those schools, especially your higher academic schools like Northwestern and Vanderbilt.
I can't identify with that mindset.
Well, you don't have to. You just have to know that it exists.
All right.
Yeah, they don't give a shit to talk to you, Joe.
No, it's fine. Nerd alert. So these guys have the 36th strength of schedule. We've played the 13th thus far, just for comparison's sake. Buckeyes are favored by. I'm not gonna even talk about one single player on the offense or the defense for Northwestern because I don't feel like wasting our time or the listeners' times. Score predictions. I got Buckeyes by 36.5. Over-under is at 63.5. I am quickly going to look up the weather forecast for the
36.5 as the spread, Joe.
Yeah.
36.
Let me give you a weather forecast here. Hold your wad, mister. I got 30% chance of precipitation, 61 degrees. Oh, this is perfect. 13-mile-an-hour winds. Wow. I hope this holds. Could be looking at a record day. Go, Sean. What do you got?
Oh, I got you got that. That sounds like a good running day. I think the running game, I think this whole offense needs to get right. So I would expect Buckeyes to win this 49-10.
Ooh. That's a running day, huh?
Yeah.
The wind blowing through your locks under your helmet.
No, it's gonna be, you know how CJ likes to do. I just want to see us do well on the ground, but then CJ's gonna throw for 3 or 4 touchdown passes. But the running game, I think, is sound and controls the day and moves us up and down the field.
Yeah. Oh, we do have a topic we have to talk about. So remind me. Cassidy says She wants our opinion on the Michigan State players fighting the Michigan dude in the tunnel. You guys saw the video, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Wow.
we got a final.
Why was he?
Cassidy.
Why was he alone? I gotta know the answer. Why was he?
He's stupid.
by
I
himself?
would assume.
Because there's like a breakdown in something. He
Well,
was
that tunnel's
surrounded by him.
fucked. That tunnel's fucked.
And I couldn't tell that either. Like where the camera, the angle I saw was that not another hallway, or was that just like a little side off? Because the Michigan dude, once he got up, went walking where some of the players from Michigan State were walking still. I
think it's one main
that's
hallway
bizarre.
that comes down. Michigan's locker room would be to the right as you're coming down the hallway, and then the visiting team would be to the left. And that dumbass got into the corridor to the left. That's how it looked to me. We saw the same shit with Ohio State last year. Remember, Coach Mick was yelling at the Michigan guy, the Michigan coach.
And Penn State, there was a problem last week. And
It's nonstop.
Yeah.
There's peanut butter sandwiches being thrown around. Mass hysteria.
Well, right. It's that old ass stadium though. You send two teams down the same hallway, but like what Franklin was talking about last week, Harbaugh thought he was instigating it because he kept his guys in there a little bit too long to try to make a conversation.
He called it whining, of course, because Harbaugh, such a tough guy.
Now it's this week. Now it's his guy getting hit by about 3 or 4 dudes or whatever.
He called it assault.
Is that okay? I haven't heard his reaction to that video.
With a nasal injury. He called it.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
He said there's a nasal injury?
A bloody nose, you might call it.
What a fucking toolbox. It's assault with a nasal injury. But okay, so all right, so now it's a big deal. Now having your fucked up and the stadium's the stadium. They're not fixing that, right? Like there's
what you do is just stagger it by 5 minutes. Give one team 5 minutes to get into the locker room. Doesn't matter who. Maybe you give the visiting team the right of way, to be nice, but I doubt it.
I think they are making some updates to that stadium, and that's one of the things that people are speculating that gets addressed.
Seems obvious, right?
You would think in today's day and age.
This has been an
I just
issue.
love that people were throwing peanut butter sandwiches at halftime. What else do we need? Chicken wings?
I try to catch one of them fucking things to eat it. Throw me a sandwich. Thanks. Give me another one. I'll take 2. Get out of here. Peanut butter sandwich.
And is that really what you're serving at halftime? Is peanut butter sandwiches? Jeez, can't afford better spread.
But who was
Get a buffet.
Again, I don't know what precipitated that fight. And, was that kid walking down there being like, fuck you, little brother, and all this stuff? I mean, you just don't know. So
he should have had his helmet on.
Yeah.
all the guys that were punching him in the face had their chin straps snapped, helmets on, full gear. What are you doing, bro? It's like going up against riot police.
Right.
But it's one of the receivers, right? One of their
it was a small dude. That small dude should not have been yapping.
Is that Antro Anthony, or was that his name?
Number 14, I think it was. I don't
know.
know.
Is that who it was? I didn't hear who it was.
That was number 1, I think. Anyways,
I got his ass kicked.
That's been a high state Michigan problem every time we play there. We've had issues with Michigan, but now the other teams. I can't believe that this is just now started to be an issue this year. It's always been an issue with us. I can't believe Michigan hasn't had run-ins with other teams because of that fucked up setup they have in that stadium.
Right. Tony Girdman from Buckeye Huddle had an awesome tweet earlier today. He said, "Oh fuck, I'm never going to find it now." He said, "Who? Here it is. I mean, we all remember seeing video of the 1973 Ohio State team peacefully coming out of the tunnel at Michigan and nearly being strangled by the M Club Go Blue banner as the team had to fight their way out of that polyester death trap.
Right. We tore the flag down, the banner. Yeah.
That was legendary. One of the favorite days of my life.
I don't know why we don't do that every year to them.
Tear down the banner.
Yeah, just like every year, just come out. They just know we're coming out to fuck it up. They're gonna like lay it down before we get out there or something.
Yeah. I think they remove it. I don't think it's still up when we come out.
That's a smart play.
Learn their lesson the hard way.
Yeah, that's a smart play.
Well, let's get back to our predictions, Jeff.
36.5 is the spread. I don't think we cover.
Yeah.
That's a huge number.
So here's what I got so far. I got Sean at 49.10. I got Cassidy at 47.20. Steven 56.7.
Oh. We'll go 41.8.
8? You said 8?
41.8. 41.8.
All right. I
mean,
don't like
we
it, but
do.
I'm going to write it down.
We do not get the cover.
It's really weird, but I'm going 59-12, easy cover, and the over.
Oh, 12 makes way more sense than 8 does.
Those are field goals,
Yeah, 4 of them. Okay.
not touchdowns. Missed extra points, obviously. There. All right, Sean, you got some microscopes on offense and defense? Going up to Chicago against, I don't even know what Northwestern does for a living on offense.
Well, yeah, you said, last week, was it Steven that, quote, air quotes, won. This to me isn't about winning. If I'm just going to try and pick the best player every week, this is more who you're trying to watch and, see what they're about. So anyway, with that being said, I'm sticking on defense with my boy, Jack Sawyer. I think he just saw his boy JT go off, and now maybe he can put together a game. I don't expect quite that performance, but maybe a strip sack, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
So that's.
Would you have an offense?
On offense, again, I'm going to go actually with Dylan Hayden.
Oh, all right. Going with the youngster.
Well, I think this is a game that we handle easily. I think we're, as we talked about our depth at wide receiver, our depth at running back's even more scary. So, I want to see Dalen, and that way just makes me feel a little more comfortable down the stretch that you've got a third guy that you can count on.
Yeah. What do you think, Jeff?
So, hoping he gets 15 carries. So
yeah, I like that. He could definitely get in there early in the third.
As far as what Sean said about spotlights, I'm in more agreements with him as far as this. Just not who I think is going to be the player of the game, but who I'm going to be watching. I'm going to watch JTT. I'm going to see how he follows this awesome performance up, and see if it's like a stepping stone for him to, assert himself as a dominant rush end. So I'm going to be focused on JTT and see how he comes out to start that game. Tries to, if he can live up to that game he just had, or that type of play at least. Maybe not that stat line, but and for offense, I'll go easy, but it's going to be CJ Stroud. How I'm gonna see him.
I thought he was off limits.
Is he?
Sean?
All right. As far as player of the game, yeah, we got to take him up on this. But all right, well, outside of him,
I don't know. I think CJ this week is takeable because I don't think he looked great, and I think I think he has to get back onto Heisman level this week. And I think
didn't look great, huh?
Well, I don't know if it was so much him, but the offensive line. But I won't spotlight CJ. We're all gonna be watching every play. We gotta assert ourselves in the offensive line. So I'll pick Donovan Jackson, who I kind of singled out as missing some plays. So I'm gonna go with left guard Donovan Jackson. Hopefully he's healthy,
Yeah,
and
I didn't get
I'm
into
gonna see
the.
him. I'm gonna see him grading out as a champion this week.
I didn't get into the woes of the offensive line, especially in the run game.
Yeah.
Not great grades, fellas, across the board, especially by the guards.
And I could pick any of the other four too, but I'm gonna go with Donovan Jackson because I've seen him miss some plays.
Cool. I'm going Travion. I think Mayan gets the week off, obviously being dinged up. He doesn't have any reason to even take a snap. He might not even travel with the team, honestly. I mean, what for if he's not going to play? So I'm going Travion, getting the bulk of the carries and maybe get his mojo back. I could see him going for 3 or 4 touchdowns, probably a couple of big ones. And then on defense, I'm going way off the board. I'm going Steel Chambers. I think we haven't seen the Real Steel yet. I think that was a movie from the 80s, Real Steel. Jeff, do you remember that?
Real Steel. That sounds real familiar. The Rugger Hour?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So anyways, I'm going Steel Chambers, Real Steel. We're going to see it this week. Tommy needs a break. Can we get this guy a day off? The guy's killing himself. So let's go Steel Chambers. So we got some. I mentioned Steven had. Oh, I did not mention. Steven has Emeka and Michael Hall on his microscopes. Cassie, I don't have anything from you yet, Cassie. I see she said let's get the run game and Ibuka and Fleming going. So that's a good start.
Got the high grass up there in Northwestern too. They're gonna try to slow us down.
That's true. Yeah. Hopefully we see a lot of Kyle McCord this week. So let's talk week 9 games. I want to put a couple people up here. Steven had Michigan 40-24 over Sparty. That was close. Cassie, sorry. She had Sparty getting the upset. False. And then Steven also had a terrible prediction with Nebraska beating Illinois 31-27. Sorry, guys. Those were terrible picks.
I knew to take the under as soon as he said that.
Yeah. I did. I won. I hit the under on Nebraska and Illinois.
Smart.
But,
I mean, that's the only play. And Nebraska, in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So what else we got? From week 9, any games you guys want to touch on? Not Nebraska. We talked about Sparty and Michigan. What about Tennessee, Kentucky? Thoughts there?
That was shocking. I thought Kentucky was going to be able to run the ball on that defense and try to keep it respectable. I didn't think Kentucky was going to be able to score with them, but did not expect a drubbing like that. Tennessee looked for real. They looked like they came out and they wanted to make a statement. Their defense is still suspect as fuck, but
all right.
It was a statement win.
To be made.
It was a good win. Real good win.
I'm sorry, before I forget, I want to jump in on this game because everybody, all you quote unquote ESPN scouts, all you professional scouts say Will Levis is an NFL quarterback. Shut it. You owe me an apology. I've been saying since preseason that guy is not shit, and he proved it. Am I wrong? You guys, is everybody else watching the same thing I'm watching? That guy does not do shit. He's not a first-round quarterback. God.
I'm not sure why he has that grade by reputable draft guys, experts. I've never really seen it. I mean, he's got potential, like the measurements and the arm strength, blah blah blah. Yeah, he's got all that, but you're right. You don't see enough. You don't see enough production. Simple as that. I mean,
he had multiple picks against a mediocre Tennessee defense.
A mediocre Tennessee defense that they were just athletes and flying around making plays. But
he's throwing them the ball, dude.
I know, but he doesn't have the athletes that he went up against. But you're right. I don't see top NFL quarterback prospect. Like some people have said. I don't see it either.
What other games? Let's see.
Well, we got Tennessee, Georgia next week.
Yeah, is there any games from this past week you guys want to touch on?
Well, Oklahoma State getting absolutely drubbed.
Yeah. Back to reality.
And Martinez was out. Martinez didn't play for Kansas State. I mean, holy shit! I couldn't believe that. 48 or 49 nothing.
Their backup is actually better. Shockingly, I know it's hard to believe that somebody's better than Martinez.
But yeah, that was surprising. Not much else though. I mean, I watched the Florida Georgia game. Whoever said that fucking Florida's quarterback was the next the coming of the next one. Come on, he's got a long way to go. He can run. He's better. He's great out of the pocket, but holy shit, he cannot throw them into a game. So I'm not really sure how much of a test Florida was for Georgia. I mean, a running quarterback. He might have been the best that Georgia's faced this year, but the offenses they got to worry about, ours and Tennessee's, they don't have to, that's not part of the game.
I was not impressed with that Georgia defense, though. Henry, did you see that game?
Not overly impressed, no.
I saw bits and pieces of that game. It looked to me like a blowout here, and then next time I look, Florida must have got away from them again. Georgia's been in the point. They give up 20 to Kent, right? And just they Oregon, so that's the doubt, but I don't think point. And I don't know. It's going to be a heck of a game. It's going to be a heck of a game next week.
Yeah. I agree. So yeah, not much else for week 9. So looking at week 10, we do have the CFP rankings coming out on Tuesday. Games that I'm looking at, I've already got some numbers on. Tennessee at Georgia. Georgia favored by 9. Bama -12 at LSU. That's a night game. And then Clemson going to Notre Dame, favored by 3.5. You guys got any takes on those?
Those are
3.5. Clemson.
That's some good football. Those just handled Syracuse, who gave Bama going to LSU. That's
Death Valley at night. It's a 7 p.m.
That's a tough venue. That to me is right. That's up there. When I was saying that, it's Happy Valley's the toughest place to play. Death Valley's pretty damn tough too.
What do you think about Notre Dame at night?
I don't know.
They don't have many. They don't have many night games there. I mean, they've had only a handful, I think, right?
They have to be in bed by 9, right?
I don't know. I mean, to me, it looks like they're getting better, but I don't know if they're probably not good enough yet. They'll choke. They got the dudes, but I don't. And that Georgia, I can't believe it's.
Spread.
I kind of like Tennessee. Did you say 11? I think Tennessee's going to be in that game.
No, that was 9.5, right, Joe? Georgia 9.5.
9. Georgia by 9.
Georgia 9. I almost like Tennessee with those points too. And that is a 3:30 game between the hedges.
Yep. SEC.
Yeah.
Or CBS.
Georgia's one team that doesn't particularly play a lot of night games. Like you don't hear about a lot of Georgia night game atmospheres. Same as Notre Dame. But I don't know. I mean, that's gonna be a tough. I mean, you're playing fucking Georgia. I mean, you're no matter what time of day it is. I might look for Tennessee though because they can score points. I might take them with the points. Give me 9, but that 12.5 that Bama's giving away at LSU. It seems like a lot, but that's the last 8 years or so. We can look back and say LSU's talent's been borderline close. I'm not sure how close that LSU talent is currently with Alabama. Yeah. So you may look for Bama to get a 2-touchdown victory there. Clemson Notre Dame, that's 3.5 points. And I don't know, what does the home team get in college typically as first points? It seems like a pick 'em game.
3. I can do the research and tell you, like Ohio State gets 5. So I mean,
Clemson minus 3.5 with on the road. That's a pick 'em game. Do you think DJ is DJ a lead enough quarterback to make the plays he's going to need to? Because the defense, I think, for Notre Dame is going to be there. I'd probably stay away from that game because it might be down to that 2 to 3 point game.
Right. All right.
That's the biggest. Those are the 3 big ones on the schedule.
Well, it sets up for a nice weekend. Those are some good football games.
Yeah, and I'd like to see. And TCU is TCU playing. They're playing Texas soon. That's another game to look at. As far as we're concerned, is with rankings. Texas is the best team in the Big 12. TCU is undefeated. So what TCU does to Texas or vice versa.
Well, Texas has to get past K-State this week. That's not a fucking gimme.
With some confidence. That's K-State. That's the Wildcats on confidence right there. Yeah. Anyway, none of that's a gimme, but TCU is going to be ranked high. I know we're going to get into the rankings here in a second, but
So, I got all kinds of stuff rolling in here on the chat. I got so many scores I don't know what to do with. Oh, Cassie is taking Notre Dame and LSU. Living on the edge. I love it, girl.
Wow.
We got Steven has Georgia 38-30 over Tennessee, so pay attention to the scores. He also has Bama 45-17 crushing LSU at home. Seems aggressive. And then he has Clemson over Notre Dame at touchdown Jesus 28-17. Wow, you guys are crazy. Steven's a big hitter. I want to go to Vegas with that guy, but use his money.
Watch, he's going to hit that. I'm going to be following Steven's blog, getting them picks.
It's going to become Steven's show. So I'm just making note of all of these so I can keep track and, talk shit next week when they're wrong. All right. So we got the big 3 games. You basically have your day of football laid out for you, right? Buckeyes at noon. You got Tennessee, Georgia. You got the night games. You got to go 2 screens at least for Bama, LSU, and Clemson, Notre Dame. So mark it down. Now we got to get into the real business coming out on Tuesday. Give me your top 4, not what you think the committee is going to pick for the CFP top 4. I just want the top 4. I don't care who's 10, 11. So Give me who you would put down 1 through 4, Sean.
It's coming out Tuesday. I would probably go Tennessee 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, Michigan 4.
You're going Tennessee number 1 because they beat Alabama.
Yes.
Resume.
Tennessee, Georgia, what?
Ohio State, Michigan.
In that order, huh?
Yep.
Wow, that's disgusting. Jeff, what do you got?
I had the exact same order.
God, you guys are idiots.
That's what it's going to be, man. What are you thinking? Maybe
Bro.
Georgia and Tennessee flip.
And
You might piss
I'll
and
give
shit
you,
yourself.
I'll give you my 5-6. My 5-6 is Clemson, TCU. First 2 out.
Bama's not in your top 6. Oh my God. Folks, mark it down. I hope somebody out there is keeping a record of this besides me because I'm a little tipsy. But Jeff does not have Alabama in his top 6. They get no credit for the last 15 years of existence,
No,
which the playoff committee will be giving them plenty of credit.
Joe, obviously, I know that Bama, and they've always gotten the benefit of the doubt, and they've always, they're one loss. They get they're allowed one every year. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, for this initial ranking, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just calling kind of an upset of myself that Bama is 7.
I'm upset with yourself too. So I'm going.
I think they're gonna. I think they want to give all the undefeated conference leaders. I think they want to give them all credit. I think they want to shine on TCU, and they want to shine on Clemson. Us and Michigan are tied. Georgia and Tennessee are tied for first place. So I think, yeah.
All right.
Well, you ask me what I think they're going to do. I mean, you're asking me.
No, I'm not asking that.
Yeah, I think Bama should be 6. I think TCU has a pretty decent, and Clemson. They both have a decent resume as far as victories they've compiled.
Okay.
And now I would be shocked, honestly, if the committee leaves Bama out of 6. I would leave Bama out of my 6 right now.
All right. Well, I'm going, if I may, I'm going Ohio State number 1, Georgia number 2, Michigan number 3, Bama number 4. I haven't even thought about anything outside of the top 4.
You got Bama over Tennessee.
You goddamn right.
How do you do that?
It's a better team.
There's the committee ain't going to see that way.
No,
that's fine.
Well, no, but
we got like 5 weeks to go.
We're giving our opinions. What we think?
My opinion.
The 4 best right now.
I'm not predicting what the committee is going to do. Like I mentioned,
but you think Alabama is a considerably better team than Tennessee?
Yes. They got beat one day in Tennessee, in Knoxville. I say you put them on a neutral today, or even before the season started. Before that, take away the game. I put them on a neutral, and let's go up to Seattle. Let's put them on a neutral field in Seattle, and
so neither one of them have any fans at all.
What's that? Yeah.
Neither one of them.
Because all the bowl games are in the South or in LA.
Right. All right. So Joe, I mean, it's very likely that they could meet again and on a neutral site. Do we have numbers yet on a potential Alabama Tennessee rematch in the SEC title game? I'm surprised there's not a spread out for that.
Or should be right now, and you got Bama ahead of the team that beat them.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's right.
Yeah, that's fucked. I don't know how you do that.
Well, I got
You just still think they're a better team, even though they lost.
At the end of
Yeah.
the
Because it
year,
was close. Because it
year,
was
that
close.
makes more sense. But
and you can say that it's the Bama, I don't know, excuse making or whatever you want to call it, given the Bama one loss. I mean, we've seen this 1,000 times. I'm not trying to say that just because they lost one game that they're, still impervious to being bad. I think that team is going to bounce back, and they're probably going to win the SEC.
I agree with that. They're probably gonna win fucking natty. But
Right.
um,
So
but I
I
don't
guess
put
you
them
could
there now.
say my ranking is by the best team. Tennessee is not a good all-around team, in my opinion. They beat up on a Kentucky team. They beat up on UT
Alabama.
Martin. There were so many things that went against Bama in that game that they couldn't overcome. I realized they beat them one day, but better team.
Oh, hey,
No.
also, Joe, also Tennessee didn't play with their best receiver. Also,
The Hilton guy?
yeah, their best receivers.
Courtyard by Marriott?
Tillman, no, not Hyatt.
Cedric Tillman, yeah.
Tillman. He didn't
Yeah.
play in that game. So, just saying, a key offensive weapon for Tennessee did not play, and they still scored 52.
I know.
But it's your opinion that you think Alabama. I don't think
I'll take
Alabama's
any
a better
side
team
action.
than Tennessee right now.
I'll take any side action you want that Bama ain't in that top four.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you there. I don't think they put Bama in the top four, Joe. I think with this many undefeated conference leaders, I don't see how Bama gets put in the top four.
Maybe not. That's fine. It's it's like bourbon. There's no
Okay,
wrong answer. It's your
right.
opinion.
So I mean, so what do you think? What do you think the committee will do tomorrow? I mean, you gave me your top four. What do you think the committee is going to do with their top four tomorrow? How do you see them putting it out?
Oh boy, that's hard. Those guys are terrible. They don't know what the fuck they're looking at.
Well, they're the ones that decide the shit. So I mean, they're the ones we have to go by.
You're asking me to get inside the head of one of those crazy bastards?
I'm yeah. Like, what do you think? How do you think it plays out? Me and Sean laid out. I think it gets laid out. Bama's probably 5. If I really think about it, I think they'll put Bama 5, but I don't think there's any chance they're in the top 4. What order do they put Tennessee, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and Clemson? Who knows? Who knows what the mix of that will be?
You know what they like to do is they like to give
But that's the mix.
one of the best teams that 5 or 6 hole and allow them to work themselves back into the top 4. So maybe that's what they'll do with Bama, right? Since they have
I think
lost.
so, because it lays out that way. And if Bama handles this their business,
right? They let them work themselves back in.
Yeah, they're
watch it.
there.
Now, obviously, Tennessee beats Georgia next week. Bama's going to slide ahead of Georgia, I bet. They'll come right back in, boom, slided one spot ahead. But knowing that they're all going to play each other,
on the win.
Yeah, right. But I mean, Tennessee won a close one against Bama. If they win anything but a close one against Georgia, they're just going to downplay Georgia and talk about the 2 close ones they had. Just like they did in Alabama. Alabama should have 3 losses right now. Yeah, but they don't.
Cassidy's asking if anybody has Michigan at number 1. You think the committee might?
No, because they're out of conference. They're out of conference strength schedule with 130.
Does Desmond Howard get a vote?
Yeah, exactly. Like the Michigan, if the Michigan AD's on the committee, there might have been one fucking vote for that. No, there's no way they get first because they haven't been ranked above anybody else. Any of the other undefeateds. They're out of conference strength and schedule is dog shit. Seriously, it's 130th out of 131.
Yeah.
and the Big Ten's considered to be down this year.
And
So
they didn't, and they were.
So they have no
They
quality
were in a ball
wins. Just
game
like
this week.
yeah,
You know,
right. Yeah, coming off of the game they just had. I mean, they don't have any quality wins. Just like they would knock Ohio State for not having any quality wins. We have a slightly better. We played Notre Dame outside the conference where they played UMass and Hawaii and shit.
Yeah.
But
My guy
there's
Tyler
no
here-
way Michigan can go to one. There's no way they could logically now in the top four. Very definite, very likely, I think, but not one, not a question.
Tyler in the chat just brought up a great point. Said that if Bama loses at LSU, I assume he's saying he didn't really finish it, but I assume he's saying that's curtains for the
Oh
tie.
yeah. Two losses before the conference championship game. Yeah, they're done. And then the committee be like, oh great, woo, cool. Now we can just write off. Now we're allowed to write off Bama. Now we don't have to worry about making sure they get in. That might be
Right.
like a sigh of relief for the committee. Like, okay, cool. Now Bama's out of the picture. Now we can really get maybe the four that earn it, or the four that maybe we. But before, why would you ever think that Bama doesn't deserve it? Because they perform very well in the playoffs. So,
Mhm.
but with two losses, that does rule them out for sure. Regardless of what Tennessee and Georgia do, because there's no rematch with them two. Bama might get a chance to avenge a loss to Tennessee, but likely Georgia beats Tennessee. Georgia goes on and plays. Would it still be Bama in the title game with the second conference loss? Would it be Ole Miss or someone else getting out of the West?
Yeah, I do have Stephen in the chat saying that Bama is yet to beat a ranked opponent, but I will say they have the 17th ranked strength of schedule in the country. 17th.
Yeah, and it's only going to get stronger.
We're 13th. For comparison's sake, Ohio State's 13th.
And to be honest, you look at our schedule. And we played on paper before the season started. Our schedule looked, oh, that's nice. That's gonna be a nice resume to have. But now it looks like dog shit because Wisconsin, Notre Dame, nobody held up their end of it, and so I'm surprised that we still have that high of a strength of schedule.
Right.
Because
plus
it hasn't been playing out that way this season.
Plus, one thing is, people say, I mean, Tennessee was ranked, actually, Stephen, if you're paying attention. I count, I mean, you can look at this so many different ways, but Tennessee was ranked 6th. They're currently ranked 6th, but they were ranked when Bama played them. Mississippi State, that Bama just beat, they were ranked, or they are ranked 24th. So Arkansas is 20th. I think they were ranked higher when Bama played them. So I think you're a little off there, Steve. You might want to check your numbers. That's why you get a 17th ranked schedule in the strength of schedule in the country.
Yes, Arkansas was the top 15 team when they played Bama, maybe
Right.
top 12.
And that's the thing is, people,
but they dropped because of that loss to Bama.
Right. People forget where teams were ranked at the time, and that's all you can do is take it at the time, because you don't know how things are going to go north or south for either team after that game, right? Sean,
Right.
You said it perfectly last week. You said we break you. Right? Thank you.
Broke Sean's connection.
He muted himself. I mute you.
But yeah,
Anyway.
So is Ohio State getting credit for a top 5 win versus Notre Dame? No, I don't think anybody nationally has given us that.
Well, hold on. When people bring that up, It's not our fault they lost their fucking quarterback after they played us. All right. That you can't judge a team going forward when they lose their starting quarterback. I don't think that's fair. I think they would have been a lot better than they are now. They're 5-3 right now, I believe. So
that was an impressive win over. If anybody was given any credit to Syracuse this year, and anybody was trying to act like they were a promising team, you got to give Notre Dame credit for that win, because they severely, they pretty solidly
they knocked
outplayed
Syracuse's quarterback out, but then the defense just played great. And yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't think it's fair to always just judge a team by where they are now.
And maybe not till after next week when Notre Dame plays Clemson, and maybe their defense puts in whether they win or lose, maybe not so much. But if the defense keeps them in a game, it's a 1-score game, whatever.
Right.
Would maybe after that game, would our win over them maybe start to look better than it did now or the next week.
Yeah.
So, if their defense keeps playing well,
and then if they beat USC,
back tonight. Oh, well, the coup de grace.
The coup de grace. We do have one last question before we log off here. Cassidy asks, do you see USC making it from the Pac-12? I will lead off that discussion by saying, fuck no. Definitely not making it to the playoffs. They'll be lucky to win that conference. You guys have thoughts?
I don't know what's going on out there. It seems like nobody's that good. Everybody can beat anybody.
It's so far away.
But yet it's going to be so close so soon.
What's going on out there? I want to see Utah and USC play. We did. USC lost. So Utah, I don't know. No, there's no chance of the playoffs. The Pac-12 has ruined their chances are gone for the playoff. Oregon looks like the best team out there right now. So we'll see. I'd like to see an Oregon-Utah conference championship game like last year, and they went to Utah last year. So.
Yeah. USC does have UCLA coming up at the Rose Bowl.
Is that finally going to be a rivalry game? Is it finally going to be a rivalry game again?
We'll see. We'll see if they show up.
That's gonna be a beautiful game to watch, though.
Yeah. Cal, Colorado, UCLA, and Notre Dame is how the Trojans finish this season. So I could easily see them losing a game and taking themselves completely out of that Pac-12 championship.
If USC has to go up to Cal to play, that's going to be a tough game. Yeah. I think. I was watching the Oregon Cal game last night. They kind of hung around with Oregon's just too, they're just too good. But they hung around with them. But it could be a tricky place to play up there. Yeah, Pac-12. It just same as every year. Not any potential to be a part of the party.
Yeah.
They will be sued though. USC, they get some more. They get some line of scrimmage play. Some athletes to play up there up front. They'll have no problem getting the quarterbacks and the weapons. And they're going to have the scheme, and they'll have the athletes on the outside. They just got to get the guys up front. If Lincoln Riley 6th round there, he'll get some O linemen. He'll get some interior D linemen to be able to stop.
Yeah, but now he's got to come and play the Big Ten.
Well, we're gonna find out real quick. Is he gonna be able to get those linemen or not? Because he will get exposed quickly, if not. Yeah. Or is he gonna just have an Oklahoma team? Is he gonna have a team that's like Maryland, most of the spin. They might score 40, but they might very well could give up 60. So maybe he's just going to try winning conferences that way. Who knows?
All right, guys. Good show. Appreciate everybody chiming in and giving us your questions and comments. Really helps us guide the show and lets us know what you guys are thinking out there, and makes for a lively conversation. Jeff and Sean, thank you as always.
Yep.
And we will
man.
talk to you next week.
All right.